Today we are going to focus on static keyword that is used inside a class that defines a static properties, method, or a initialization block, okay, inside a class. These properties only can be directly accessed by the class, okay, but they cannot directly accessed by the instances of the class, okay. Only the class itself can access it. So what is that? Okay, so let's go into the coding part. Here I defined a class named book, okay. So it's have a properties called test that have some value 1. We can initialize it or not, that is up to you. Then there is a static method called hello, and it is just returning a hello from static method, okay. And there is a initialization block that is inside parenthesis and defined as a static. This is inside a static block. So let's write this initialization, okay. So, and there is a normal constructor inside the class, okay. And here I just taking the name parameter, and this is this dot book name equal to name, okay. So next I create a instance of book class, that is my book, okay, and I am giving story as a name, okay. So as we know, we can access this hello method, this static method, inside the book also, okay. So if I run this, so let's save this first, okay, let's run it again, and as you can see, this is initialized first. So inside static initialization block comes first, then the method, the result of the method, that hello from static method, okay. Next, suppose as I mentioned, this is directly accessed on the class only, okay. So if I access the property, okay, so now let's comment this part, hello part, okay. And for now let's stop the initialization also for the time being, okay. Now let's run it, okay. Let me clear the terminal. So okay, so okay, node static results. So now it is throwing the value 1, okay. We can access this property in here, okay. And now if I access my instance of the class, my book, okay, now let's run this. It will give me the book name story. This is also possible. But if I access the static property from the instance, this will throw an error, okay. So suppose I run this, it should say undefined because we cannot access this one, okay. So you might have heard of some inbuilt classes that have some static properties and static methods, okay. So my top of my mind is math. Math is a class where math.py is a property, okay. Math.random is a method. And so let's try on the number, if you are acquainted with that one. So suppose I will define my number, okay, equal to new. I'm creating just an instance of number, okay, and let's not pass anything. So here if I console log number dot max value, okay, so console dot log, and if I go for only number, okay, dot max value. So suppose I want this is a static property that is defined inside number, okay. So let's comment out everything and let's see. It should give us the highest maximum value inside this class, okay. So now I have a my number instance. If I replace this, my number dot max value, it should not be accessible by this instance, okay. This should be throw undefined, okay. Same with there is a method called isNone, number dot isNone is there, so you cannot access from the instance, okay. So let's remove this part. So now we have understanding that the properties and the methods are only accessible by the like the class itself, okay. So let's have another static method inside this class, and let's try to access the hello static method from that class, okay. So let's type static hello 2, Okay, let's keep it simple. And suppose this is another method, and here I want to access this hello method. Okay, so for that, what I can do, we have two ways to do this. Either you can write the class name itself, or you can just refer it through this keyword. Okay, so I am using a template literal. Okay, and inside here I just write this dot hello. Okay, and yeah, so outside from another static method. Okay, that's it. So now if I will call this, so suppose I'll uncomment this one and book dot hello 2. Okay, yeah, this is from hello, from static method, from another static method, because it is getting the number, this message from this hello. So now it will be this strings comes to this value. Okay, hello from static method, then from another static method is here. Okay, so now we know that how to access the static one static method from another static method inside one class. Okay, so now let's access these static methods inside the constructor of the class. Okay, so suppose so this is the property of the this dot book name. Now I want to access this static property of the book class, that is called test, which has a value equal to value 1. So I just want to console log this one. Okay, so what I can write here, either by this keyword that represents the class or test. Okay, so once I instantiate it, it should be printed. So let's comment it out, run this, and this is not accessible. Okay, so this is supposed to happen. I just wanted to know that we cannot access this just by this keyword. Okay, either you have to write the class name, or you have to write the constructor. So we have to specify the constructor. Okay, so now if I write constructor dot test, I think this should be working. Okay, yeah. Okay, either, as I mentioned, you can specify the class name itself and still it will run. Okay, I'll put the entire code in the GitHub and provide you the link in the description, so everything will be there. Okay, so now we know how to access one method from another one and from the constructor also. So let's go into a little bit deeper. Okay, so let's remove this one, whether it will be printed multiple time. Then suppose now I create a child of this class. Okay, so suppose class storybook, let's have a storybook class. Okay, books extend books. Okay, now inside this let's have one method, one property first. So let's name it by 2, and this will be value 2. Okay, then another method, let me copy this to save some time. So let's copy this into this, and it is from child. Suppose hello child. Okay, so hello from static method inside child. Okay, inside child, sorry. Okay, so now this is another class that extends book, and it have one property, one method. So now how can we access this one from the parent class? Okay, so if I write console log, so our class, new class name, so suppose storybook, I want to access this property test. Okay, then it should show value 1, because it can be accessible. Okay, so now let's go to another part. I just omitted this. So this one is the initialization block. Okay, we complete the property in the method. Now let's come to the initialization part. Okay, so in initialization, if I run this class, if I suppose I just create an instance of this, then suppose I comment this part, So this part will be initialized along with the initialization of the class. Okay. So suppose I run this one, so it should, okay, I'm not instantiating it. Okay, let me set this static inside my book. Okay, so let's remove everything. Okay, and this part also, only constructor, and my book equal to new book. So let's, yeah, so now the time I instantiate the book, then this start initialization block will run. Okay, so now let's check that. Let's keep everything back. Okay, so now I want to access this. So let's create access this test property inside this static block. Okay, so how we can do that? So let's say semicolon, not this one. So let's remove this part. So we have only, let's okay, initialization block, and let's access console dot log this dot test. Okay, so now if I run it again, okay, I'm saving it again. Yeah, now you can see the value is coming. Okay, so in constructor you have to mention this dot constructor dot the property name, or the only the class name dot the property or the method, but inside the initialization you can directly access it. Okay, so suppose I will bring back that storybook. Okay, so okay, I just missed it. So suppose storybook, and inside here I just want to create a static initialization block. Okay, so now this is, so I want to access this test property, okay, from the parent class book. So what I have to write, super dot test, it is still accessible. Okay, so now if I like, yeah, so this is printed again. So let me remove this part so that we only get to know that only this part is being printed. Yeah, the value one is there. Okay, so in today's video we learned about the static keyword to define a static method or a field and a initialization block inside a class, and how to access from the another static method, from constructor, from a child class. Okay, and why it is needed. And yeah, thank you, see you in the next one.